Okay, part two of how to survive the overnight. After you've got your wicking layer on, the first one, what you need to have is, well, I would suggest a vest, a very light vest. That way you can gradually acclimate to the current temperature. First, you don't want to put on something real hot because you're just going to end up heating up. So I would start with a vest. This is the vest that I'm using. This is the Milwaukee electric vest. When you put on that vest, you don't turn it on, the electricity or nothing like that. If it gets too cold after you've got the vest, what would wear is something with a lot of fur, like this. That's the 32 degrees, 32 degrees heat fleece. It's pretty expensive. None of this stuff is cheap. The vest is about $160. I don't know. And then the fleece is about $40. Then third layer, after you put on the fleece and you want to go to something permanent because you know you're not turning back after that. Oh, always make sure that you're slightly cool when you change up, when you go a little up on the things you wear. Remain cool, because once you start sweating, got to go back to the first layer, let it wick out, let it dry out, and start putting on the layers again. You don't want to experience that, so stay slightly cool at all times. The fourth layer would be the permanent sweater. This is the no going back zone. Fourth layer, you have no mobility after you start putting on these layers, but the point is to stay warm. After you go to the layers, after you go through the sweaters, you start going to the coats. This is the electric coat from Milwaukee. Once you put that on and you've got the coat on, it better be really cold because it's a lot of layers to be wearing and not being cold. Anyways, not being in a cold temperature. You're going to start sweating. You want to avoid that. Make sure you're cold before you start putting on these layers. All right. Or slightly chilly. You don't want to be cold, but at least let it be justified. Don't just say I want to bundle up so I can be warm and hot. That's the dumbest thing you can do. I've experienced it. I've done this so many times. This is my fourth time doing this event. Fourth year doing this event, though I still work other events throughout the year, that I do experience the cold, and I do know how to acclimate myself while I'm in the cold. All right, so past the coat layer, what I normally have is a trench coat. A trench coat would go just above everything else. On top of everything else, the trench coat would go because the trench coat is perfect for breaking whatever wind that might occur. It just makes everything a lot more smoother. It then seals it. It holds whatever heat that you're making with these electric wares. The trench coat is gonna keep it, hold it, and break the wind. That's what you don't want to experience, is a lot of wind. Aside from being sweaty, the second worst thing is the wind. Temperature right now is 36 degrees. Doesn't feel cold because I'm not wet. If I was sweaty, I'd be freezing my ass off right now, but I'm not. Oh, as you can see, I made an error today. I wore my white tee as my first layer. I ended up sweating. I had to take it off because it's the dumbest thing to do. Why wear cotton and then a wicking shirt? Doesn't make any sense. So I took off the cotton. It's still sitting in the chair. It's still soaking wet. It's been off me for about 30 minutes. It's still soaking wet. So imagine if I just wore it this whole time. I'd be wet. All right. So after I put on this layer, which I'm gonna do right about now. All right. After I put on this layer, which is the vest, look really nice in my vest too. It's very fashionable. After I put on this layer, put on the fleece, then the fleece with the hoodie, the fleece, then the fleece with the hoodie. Both of these have fur. If you could get a fleece that has fur even in the arms, like this one, as you can see, it has furs in the arm, you're doing a good job. It's expensive, but anything less is just stupidity. If it doesn't have fur in the arms, your arms are the first thing to get cold. You need fur in the arms all the time, every single time. Anytime you buy something, make sure it has fur in the arms, because if it doesn't, it's not worth it. All right. Yeah. So, wick, vest, fur, fur in the arms, fur everywhere, a hoodie, perfect hoodie, and then a coat, and then a trench. All right. After that, I'll show you how to do the pants. Oh, just so you know, let me make the next video, part 3.